Before I turn this into a rant, let me just say that the vast majority of feedback that I've received in my life has been positive, and I'd like to thank you all for that. However, I still can't stop myself from getting defensive when I receive negative comments. Constructive criticism is a touchy area for people who make things. When you spend weeks on something, occasionally spending hours pondering tiny details, only for somebody to give you a negative rating and a 3-word insult, it hurts. From an outside view, it seems all too easy. A lot of people don't understand me and will think of me as a childish, proud person. And I am. For this video, I'm going to show you two sides to the story. Let's start with D. Rostock. Now, the maker of this map is a good guy, and I've enjoyed playtesting the CSGO version of this map, which is really impressive. The CSS version, released years ago, is basic by comparison. I mean, it's not bad, he's dabbled with the lights, he's finished the layout, and I'm sure it's fun to play, but most people won't bother playing it. They'll make a judgment based on a couple of screenshots. That's the sad truth. So as expected, the general feedback, which admittedly is constructive to some extent, is that the map looks boring and dull like the thousands of others like it. Screw the beautiful gameplay that could be lurking within. At least he got decent feedback, a lot of maps are ignored completely. As expected, however, he doesn't take kindly to this feedback. Boom. He attacks them. Not a wise move. What follows is a heated debate about why one mapper is better than another and how nobody has the right to judge another. It's childish and petty, and you'll probably find yourself siding against the mapper in this situation. He should take it like a man and move on. And now for my story. I was a week away from starting at university and found a nice little tower engine example on a game making site that I visited. It got good feedback and it worked okay, but I saw potential. I felt that I could turn it into a game that would have better graphics, original gameplay elements, and would blow this one out of the water. After several of my games had simply been ignored by the community, this one would put me on the map. And it did. But for the wrong reasons. I started my game from scratch. I like to have a complete understanding of what I'm working with. I made a nice little tower example, but continued to push it further. I added sheen to the bricks. I made them wrap around the tower instead of simply scrolling across the screen. The platforms themselves looked as though they were 3D. I added power-ups that would add to the gameplay, and before I knew it, I had a working game. If that other one had got good feedback, this one would be like Half-Life 3 to them, I thought. Let me just say that I don't just do things to get attention. Not normally, but after making so many games and getting such little feedback, I was kind of hoping that this one would be seen and played. I felt like a child whose sibling was a music prodigy. I was overshadowed by somebody who always stole the limelight. Anyway, I released the game. Wow, lots of great ratings! Just kidding, this was for the other one, praising it for being a working tower example. Let's see what I got for releasing mine a week later. A 3 out of 5 rating criticising the gameplay, an admin telling me to fix the last 2 screenshots, which I did. The third reply pretty much says, the previous rating means that I'm not going to play it. However, I will comment saying that it's not going to be very fun so other people won't want to play. Oops, my first comment suggesting that he should have played the game for himself. Actually, that's quite reasonable. And now for the bombshell. 2 out of 5 and criticising me for stealing the previous game's work, and how the gameplay sucks. Maybe I should have just called it an engine example and nobody would have cared. Oh, the guy who didn't download it is back and rubbing it in further. Now I'm being criticised for plagiarism again? Oh look, my first angry response. Another 2 out of 5 rating, also hammering home the fact that I stole it. Somebody criticising it for not having an EXE when the game itself is an EXE. I guess they just didn't download it either. Thanks Eliza for telling him that, but still 2 out of 5. Somebody didn't rate it but said it was good, but criticised it because the lighting wasn't fully dynamic. I could talk about how aiming higher simply leads to more criticism, but I'll leave that for now. 3 out of 5, gameplay flawed. Okay, I get the message. This goes on for a bit, I get some nice 5-star ratings later on, so I guess maybe it balances it out, and then some people reviewed it and made me feel better. Okay, maybe it wasn't all bad, but I doubt I improved my reputation in the community. In short, I felt I was unfairly treated, and looking back at D. Rostock, I think he feels the same. He's made a full DE map that wasn't any better or worse than CPL Mill to look at, and is far bigger and more well thought out than most AIM maps, and yet people are still reviewing it unfairly. It's up to you. I don't know where I'm going with this video now, but hopefully this will let you see why people can get very defensive about small things. They're not all psychos or unreasonable. My parents don't understand my obsessions, but then again, they don't take kindly to criticism of their motorbikes or diaries. We all have our weaknesses.